Hi, welcome to today's On This Day in Tudor History. I'm Claire Ridgway. I'm the author of several Tudor history books, and I also run the Anne Boleyn Files and Tudor Society websites. I'm here every day of 2019, just bringing you Tudor history events, whether they're coronations, battles, annulments, those awful executions. I'm here being disturbed by dogs growling and scratching as well every day, just to bring you these Tudor goodies. Now today I'm taking you back to the reign of King Henry VIII, and in fact the same year that Anne Boleyn was executed, not long after her execution. But on this day in Tudor history, the 8th of June 1536, which was exactly 3 weeks after the execution of Queen Anne Boleyn, second wife of King Henry VIII, the 6th Parliament of King Henry VIII's reign met. Now, this Parliament went on to pass the Second Act of Succession, which removed the King's daughters, both of them, Mary, his daughter by his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, and Elizabeth, who was, of course, his daughter by his second wife, Anne Boleyn, from the line of succession, and it declared them illegitimate. It declared them bastards as well. Now, this wasn't anything different for Mary, really. She'd already been declared illegitimate on the 23rd of March 1534 in the first Act of Succession, but Elizabeth before now had been legitimate, so it really did affect her. That act that had declared Mary's illegitimacy back in 1534, the first Act of Succession, had also declared the validity of Henry VIII's marriage to Anne Boleyn and recognised the rights of their issue, i.e. Elizabeth and any future children, to inherit the throne. However, now Anne Boleyn was out of the window. She'd been executed as a traitor. So following the fall and execution of Anne Boleyn in May 1536, it was imperative that Parliament did something to change this legislation. So Parliament met again, and the Second Act of Succession confirmed the annulment of Henry VIII's marriage to Anne Boleyn, which, if you watch my Fall of Anne Boleyn video series, you'll know that Archbishop Cranmer had proclaimed the annulment of their marriage before Anne Boleyn's execution. And it also declared, this act declared, that the issue of this marriage is also illegitimate, going on to state that the succession to the throne be now therefore determined to the issue of the marriage with Queen Jane. Queen Jane, of course, being Jane Seymour, who Henry VIII had married on the 30th of May 1536. Now, Parliament praised the king for his most excellent goodness to enter into marriage again, making it sound as if, he really didn't want to do it, but had to do it. It was because of his goodness that he entered into this third marriage. Excuse the sarcasm. So they praised him for entering into marriage with Jane Seymour. And the bill went on to praise the new queen as well. And for as much as you have chosen and taken a right, noble, virtuous and excellent lady, Queen Jane, to your true and lawful wife, who for her convenient years, excellent beauty and pureness of flesh and blood is apt to conceive issue by your highness, which marriage is so pure and sincere, without spot, doubt or impediment. So words of praise for Jane and the marriage. Now, the passing of this Second Act of Succession meant that although the king had 3 living children, he had no legitimate living children or heirs to the throne. For his son, Henry Fitzroy, Duke of Richmond and Somerset, was also illegitimate, being the son of Henry VIII's mistress, Elizabeth Blunt, also known as Bessie Blunt. Now, this Parliament was actually Fitzroy's, that's Henry's illegitimate son. It was his last public appearance, for he was recorded as being consumptive and incurable by Imperial Ambassador Eustace Chapuis on the 8th of July 1536, and he tragically died on the 22nd of July 1536. So the pressure was now on for Jane Seymour, Henry VIII's third wife, to produce a living son and heir as quickly as she possibly could. Of course, Jane did manage to do this. It took some time. She didn't get pregnant straight away. But she went on to give birth to a healthy son on the 12th of October 1537, a boy who would of course become King Edward VI when his father died in January 1547. Now, on the very same day that her illegitimacy was being declared, being confirmed by Parliament, Mary, the King's eldest daughter, wrote to her father from her home at Hunsdon. Letters and Papers has a record of what was said in her letter. Begs his daily blessing, though she understands to her inestimable comfort that he has forgiven all her offences and withdrawn his displeasure long time conceived against her. Her joy will not be full till she is allowed to come to his presence. Begs pardon for her continual suit and rude writing, for nature will suffer her to do no more otherwise. Hopes God will preserve him and the Queen, and send them a prince. However, she was wrong. Henry VIII hadn't forgiven her yet. He didn't want anything to do with his daughter at this point, not until she towed the line and obeyed him and submitted to him. And I'll give you a link to my video which explains a bit more about this. But he didn't want anything to do with his eldest daughter. He saw her as being disobedient and defiant for not accepting the annulment of her parents' marriage, not accepting her status as Lady Mary rather than Princess Mary, and not taking the oath which recognised him as head of the church. So there was no way that Henry was forgiving his daughter and welcoming her back to court at this point. So that's what happened on this day in history, the 8th of June 1536, not long after the fall and execution of Queen Anne Boleyn. I'll be back tomorrow, but you can subscribe to this channel by clicking around about there, hit the bell to be notified as new videos go live, and please do give this video a like. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for following what I do, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.